All right.
So you got your goodies.
Oh my God. And here's the thing, Eileen, thank you so much. But there were so many things that I'm like, okay, there's the main. What is this?
That is a sauna hat. Let me go get one. Let me go get mine.
Like, and there's nothing on the list that says that. I was like, I have not a clue. I finally was like, book me something. I want to know what to do with all this stuff. Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah. So let me go grab mine.
Yeah, go get whatever. I got all the things. I'm going to be like, so what is this? Okay. Oh my God, never in a million years.
Okay. So this is the sauna hat. You just, this goes in the back here. I'm going to take my thing out.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, your sauna is like one of my favorite things in life. I didn't know what a sauna hat was though. Oh.
You get the idea without me making my hair too messy here.
So it's to take the hair on so the light gets on the skin and everything, or?
Well, it's so your hair doesn't get all dried out and brittle, with long hair. That heat lamp bulb kind of fries the hair.
Okay.
But also we lose most heat through our head.
Right.
So if we wear a sauna hat, you sweat a lot more.
I just throw a stupid towel on my head. That's what I've been doing. But now I have, and I'm sure this is some crazy
organic. Yes.
Yeah,
organic.
She doesn't play. Everybody, this is Eileen Durfee. She is the inventor of all of the fun things. And one of the things you see me talk about all the time, one of my favorites, I really think it's probably outside of the home ozone generation filtration mold killer I have in my whole house that I needed. Your sauna is one of my favorite things that I've ever invested in my life for my health journey. And I love it and use it almost daily. So this, you guys, she has so many products we're going to go over right now. And I didn't even know this thing existed. So my bad. And all the saunas I've sold, and I didn't tell you to get an organic sauna hat.
There's a video on how to wear it on the website. So
you did a great job. I totally get it. So it doesn't, but I could put it. So here's the thing.
You can do it like that.
Yeah,
but that's backwards.
That's backwards.
You have short hair.
A little clannish.
You have.
How'd you do it? You went like.
Yeah, you go like this. This is the back, the little loop.
Oh, inside out.
The back of your head. Then if you got long hair like me, you just wrap it all up in there like this. Pretend my hair.
Right. Gotcha.
Then you go like this and you tie it there.
Gotcha. Love it. Okay. But it's a way also to keep yourself out. Well, I'll have the video link on how to do this, you guys, below, as well as to go to my store to get all of her amazing stuff. And so what inspired this second interview, guys, is I talked with her about the sauna and how amazing it is. I'll have that down there. If you do not have this sauna, you are missing out, and you need to get the sauna that this woman has created and all of its incredible upgrades. It is, I don't know anybody who hasn't gotten this sauna and doesn't say, oh my God, I feel so good after using the sauna, even if they've used other saunas. So how about give them a 1 minute thing about what makes your sauna unique and why they should click on get it and a sauna hat before we get into all this other cool stuff.
Okay, sure. Well, the walls or the tent panels are insulated. All the other saunas are not insulated. So this is like an R12 instead of like the wood that's like an R1. But besides that, because it's therapeutic light, and what? Light travels at the speed of light.
Yeah.
So my idea was don't let it leave.
Yeah.
So that way it can bounce around and maximize your phototherapy effects. So it's got the radiant barrier, which also becomes the safest place in your house because none of the EMFs and everything can get in there. We've got a grounding cable so you can be earthing while you're taking your sauna. And so it just heats up so fast, especially if you get the little breathe safe. I was just looking to see if I have mine here. I don't.
Oh, I figured you would have had it. That's the one I didn't grab.
Actually, here's one right here.
Okay.
I unplugged it because I need to go clean it, but there's the little breeze safe. So when you're in the sauna and you breathe this oxygen and these negative ions and it cleans up your toxic humidified sauna sweat, it even causes you to sweat more. So it's like, I always tell people you're going to sweat twice as much in half the time without a preheat.
It's no preheat. In 20 minutes, I am dripping like I've never, it would take me 45 to 65 minutes to get anywhere close. Plus I used to preheat my other wooden, amazing one that everybody thinks is the best on the market. And I'm like, this one is better. Trust me. And it's fast, easy, in and out. Again, no preheat, so much sweat. This sauna is light bulb based versus these electrical like rods and panels surrounding you, kind of EMF. Hers is also a little bit of a mini Faraday cage blocking out other EMF and radiation that's coming from outside and inside. So, and you're grounded. She's upgraded. The ones everybody is buying now is better than my old one. And just one day I will upgrade. So let's get into some of the other cool stuff that I have from you. Because you guys, I always was just the sauna. And then I was like, really looked at her website and I'm like, what are you doing? What is going on here with all this cool stuff? So there's so many amazing products that there's a solution to what people ask me about all the time. And the quality that Eileen and then you make, I mean, the level of making sure it's organic and clean and no glyphosate and the animals are taken care of, whatever. I got stuff behind me. We're getting to their skincare, there's all kinds of stuff, but let's at least talk about the stuff that I have used forever. And I have to say the brush, this detox brush and stuff that comes with yours they're the best feeling, most comfortable brush kits I've ever used. Because I've gone through ordering stuff on Amazon, buying from Whole Foods, all the kind of stuff because I do a lot of this kind of thing. And yours are like, I tell everybody, I can't explain it, why they're better feeling than anything else. So maybe you can explain like what this stuff is all about and why people would want to use them. So this is the body detox brush and beauty set. And it's actually upgrade from the last ones I had.
Yes. So this is like an exfoliating sponge that you can actually take dry. And, just go over your face. And then you can, of course, clean it, let it dry. But, with it dry, it really gets that layer and renews your skin.
How often should somebody do that?
Each person's skin is a little bit different.
Okay.
I don't know. It might have an effect kind of like a deep mask. So if somebody does a mask, maybe once a week, maybe this would be good to do.
Okay.
And there's a little tiny facial brush too that you can use, and then there's the long handle. I mean, you get a travel bag with it, to keep them in. So, sometimes
briefly why people do these. Like I've talked about dry brushing and they're, maybe just give them a quick mini lesson.
Right.
What's the point of this? I do it before I sauna, you guys. I do it before I go in.
Well, if you do this before you sauna, you sweat much faster. Your skin is the largest elimination organ in the body. And to activate it, you can brush your skin. And I have directions on how to do it where you start like at your bottom of the foot, work up to your waist, go up the other leg, hands in, everything towards the heart, and then clockwise circle around the tummy. But this actually activates our lymphatic system. Kind of like, get on a rebounder and jump, it activates the lymph system. So it's huge for detox. But this quality brush set, sometimes you don't want to have a brush with a really long handle, but you do, where you can't reach. So you've got all these different sizes. Now I don't have the wooden one. It's in my shower. Okay. So people have heard of the fascia blaster.
Mm-hmm.
That fascia blaster, it works, but it can really bruise you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you look at pictures of me from years ago, I just turned 60. And one of the things I use is that wooden nub brush is I rake up and down my neck So my neck, and I use it on my face too. So
just
it's
softly. I don't have this one. So this is my first time having it. So I wasn't sure what to do.
yes, softly. And you know, you're lifting up on the face.
Oh yeah.
And it just has an effect of working on your
soft, actually. It's like they move. Okay.
right. Yeah. So it really has that effect of impacting your fascia without all the bruising.
Right.
So you can get, and I mean, pretend this
people
is the
doing
wooden
it on
nub
the
one.
thighs? Are they doing
Yeah,
it?
you can
Okay.
do it everywhere. And I
Okay.
mean, I do it up here
Mhm.
so that, you know, this stays lifted, you know, but between the skincare and that wooden brush and, you know, doing this and, you know, occasionally this, that's why my face looks so much younger now than from videos 10 years ago.
You do look incredibly different from 10 years ago. Honestly, when I first saw it, I went, what? You just don't even look like it's like a couple decades. Well, let's just talk
Well, I've
about
lost, you know, 30 pounds and, you know, all these things together are.
Let's talk about some of the skincare stuff. I'm one of these people, I'm really, really sensitive to skin stuff. And so I am always hesitant to try. I have a few things that I use, but I'm in the keto, carnivore, animal-based meat loving group. And a lot of people in the animal-based community, primal community, love using animal-based products. And you have a whole tallow-based line that I want to kind of talk about. Plus I want to talk about the Dead Sea mineral. I love some salt. Love this stuff. So very interesting ones. I just wanted to kind of like, so we have tallow deodorant, y'all.
Right.
Okay.
And look at the 5-star reviews. In I don't know, 7-8 years that we've been making it, I've only had 2 people not be able to use it. Now we do have a little tiny bit of baking soda in there. And there's been many people that are sensitive to baking soda that have tried it that can use it, but there's been 2 people out of, we sell thousands of jars of this stuff.
I'm one of those people that's normally can't use, I don't use any deodorant, antiperspirant. I haven't in 20 something years. I have the occasional, I'll use something if I am speaking at an event and I'm presenting and I might be nervous. So I might use, let me say, I will use antiperspirant maybe 3-4 times a year on a special event where I'm, you know, everybody thinks I'm not nervous, but I am actually, and I'll do that. But otherwise I don't use anything because my skin is so sensitive. So even but I'm going to try and we're going to see.
And you only use like not even a pea size.
Oh, wow. So like this thing is going to last
months.
Months. Yeah. I like that. So we have a lemon lime. And then the fresh, just like, what is that?
Well, the fresh has high organic, high altitude lavender oil and organic tea tree oil in it. Okay, so cool. The 2 kind of cancel each other out. So it doesn't smell like tea tree and it doesn't smell like lavender. It's kind of a fresh scent.
Okay.
And then the lemon lime is actually, that lemon myrtle has more antibacterial properties than even tea tree oil. So if you really have a perspiration odor problem, the lemon lime, you know, because like my daughter, the fresh doesn't work all day for her.
Okay.
But the lemon lime does.
Okay.
So, you know, for the toughest person, you might, you know, go with the lemon lime, but the smell of it, I mean, if you open up the jar, it's not like overpowering like your citrus and, you know, you're going to smell obnoxious or anything. We use just the bare minimum of essential oils necessary to make the product work because some people are so sensitive to that.
I love it. I love the tallow lines. I've used many of these kind of natural deodorants and none of them were actually tallow based that I've tried before. So I'll be curious to see with the combination for me, for a very, very, very sensitive person. Most people are not anywhere near as sensitive skin as mine. But for the carnivore community, the keto community, you've been asking me, what about a tallow? What about a tallow? What a tallow? I'll back this because I've looked and read everything of where she's getting it. She doesn't play on her quality, you guys. It's kind of.
Yeah, as far as the tallow, so there's a group of farmers that actually a lot of them are organic, just not 100% of them, but they're all grass fed. They don't do any immunizations or any medications or anything like that. And you know, so we get the fat off the cow, but not the whole cow, because there could be 300 pounds of fat on a cow. We only get what's in the fascia sac that sets on top of the kidneys. So that's the purest of the pure.
Oh,
And then we cut it and we, you know, get the fascia off there, any discoloration like from blood or anything like that, we throw away. Then we put it, I actually had a special big cooker made because with a stainless steel screen in it, and we can cook it on very, very ultra low heats. And so we cook it for days and we crank and we pour off and we triple filter the fat, and then we refrigerate it. So it's like liquid gold, because for every pound of fat that we buy, after all this processing, well, it's gently processed. In other words, it's very low temperature, like 130 degrees. And then it melts and we put it in there. We only end up with 1/4 pound. So
Wow.
75% of it is waste. Now, there's a lot of other tallow products that I bought, lotions and whatnot, and you literally smell like cooked hamburger walking around. You know, and so this, you're not going to, you don't have that rotten cow smell.
Yeah.
You do not have it.
Awesome. That's, I'm going to go, well, I'm going to leave the sunscreen till a minute, 'cause I'm going to do a caveat on that. Well, you know what I mentioned, let's just do it. So you actually have a tallow-based SPF 35 sunscreen. I am pretty anti-sunscreen overall, but because as I'm teaching people though, however, why are you burning? Too many seed oil,
Right.
lack of infrared sunrise, sunset, and imbalanced, you know, exposure of light, lack of low cholesterol, low fat diets. There's a number of reasons outside of you're a very fair-skinned person. And obviously there's a big range of how long someone can stay in the sun. And so even if you're doing things right and you've gone from, okay, from 15 minutes, I don't burn, but in 2 hours, I'm going to burn and I'm trying to go to the beach, or even somebody like me with darker skin, I still, if I flew in a plane right now to the equator and spent too long, I would burn. And so there are these time and place reasons. I get it, where you might want a sunscreen that isn't full of toxic, carcinogenic poisons, and that is actually going to help your skin versus, you know, hurt your total life. Let's talk. So that's my caveat on sunscreen. People always, but
And mine too.
Yeah,
I
know you need a
only
safe option.
use it because I get out early in the morning, because the early morning sun, the Kelvins are low, and you can build up what they call a skin, you know, a sun callus, where you can handle more and more of the afternoon. But there's many times that I am outside way past the time that I should be for sun, and especially on the face. I mean, I live in Eastern Washington. It's a desert. We have almost 300 days of sun here. So it's like, I need to have some kind of natural protection that isn't giving me cancer causing chemicals to get in my bloodstream.
I get it. I get why we have to have some reasons for it. People always want to ask me. So here we have a tallow based. How are you getting it? What's making the sunscreen? Tell us a little bit about this.
Yeah, so it is tallow based, and we use a variety of ingredients, but the non-nano zinc, you know, it's like when the sunlight hits it, it reflects the rays off, so it's not absorbing into your skin. But there's a few other natural sunscreens that I've tried, and they have the weirdest smell. So we play along, you know, around with it for the longest time, and came up with, you know, because a lot of them will smell like chocolate, or they'll smell just kind of weird when you're trying to cover up that cocoa butter, you know, smell, and so on and so forth. And so after a long time, we came up with something. But the first thing, the mistake you're going to make when you open this jar up, you're going to put a lot on your body. But see, this is gonna, like, especially if you proper moisturize with some of them, that's like way too much though. Like,
okay, so that
take like very little bit, and that's gonna like cover your whole arm practically. Look at that.
Oh, it's like the lightest, softest wet. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh man, it does smell good.
But yeah, and it's not weird, and it's, you know, all natural ingredients, and it actually works.
Wasn't what I was expecting. It's like a soft, it's like mousse, like whipped cream.
A lot of our lotions, there's a whole process to making them because, and the timing of what we do when, because some of the ingredients that are in there will settle and it won't, you know, as it cools.
Yeah.
So it's like there's a lot of whipping involved that we do to get that spreadable texture to where all the goodness is
butter.
everywhere, you know.
So like what, you know, it's a dumb question, but balm versus lotion, like
Right. So
we have
let's
balms, we got lotions, and we have cellulite reduction. I was like, please give me a lesson so I don't screw this one up. So that's what I want to know. So we got these and I just love the acceptance. I mean, I'm like, what is happening here emotionally if I put this on me? I didn't want to use anything until Eileen explained everything to me.
So we started with the deodorant. That's the first thing, because nothing worked for my daughter, not, you know, and me, I just wasn't wearing it, but I was still smelling, you know, a little bit here and there. And so we developed the deodorants, and then we went to the balms. So like if you have dry, cracking skin somewhere, or like something on the top of your skin where you kind of want to have it stay moisturized longer instead of just absorbing completely through the layers of your skin, the balm is the way to go. And then we have two. There's one with acceptance that's got all kinds of essential oils in it that are super, you know, healing. You've got the frankincense, sandalwood, blue tansy, bergamot, rosewood, lang lang, geranium, neroli, and coriander. Yeah. And so it's just a favorite. And then we use that oil blend. Well, I had people buying the balm and they're going, I want to like spread this all over my body, but it doesn't spread very well. And I'd have to use jars of it. So they said, can you do a lotion? So then I started investigating different oils that we could add to the tallow base. The majority of what's in the jar is the tallow. And that's actually the most expensive component because of all the labor and everything. It's, we call it like liquid gold. But, you know, I was really concerned about the polyunsaturated fatty acids, you know, and so every oil has a PUFA rating. And so they're saying now that if you can keep your PUFA rating under 10, then you're safe. So even though some of the ingredients in here are gonna be, this is the old label. We changed our recipe here. I've got my old labels here. We're not using the evening primrose oil anymore in the anti-aging.
Yeah, I have an anti-aging.
But it's got Burudi oil and jojoba oil and tamanu oil, just all kinds of different oils, but their overall PUFA rating is very, very low. I think the highest PUFA rating we have is like a 6. You know, so we kept that in mind too, but then I just did a whole bunch of research and it's almost like making the light bulb when we do a new skincare product, because we're like doing all these batches and then we're using them to make sure that it's not going to cause your face to break out from, you know, clogging.
How much stuff do you end up like saying, oh, that didn't work and we have to give it away or throw it away? Is there like a lot of that goes on? Like, well, that was a good set. That wasn't a good set.
Well, we'll make like a small bowl of it and then employees, we use it, you know, or like I'm still working on a smaller jar with peptides and even more anti-aging ingredients for like around the eyes.
Okay. So the anti-aging, like Revive Youth, is this for like the face mostly?
I put that on my face and neck every day.
Okay.
After the Revive facial toner with the minerals.
Okay.
So I
Oh,
kind
now I get it. So that's the Revive Youth, and we have the Revive.
we have the
facial toner.
Fresh
Yeah, I have Fresh,
and then the Revive.
Revive.
Yeah.
You
So
use all of this together.
now the Fresh is maybe for someone who's not so concerned with wrinkles or trying to reverse, aging. It's very nourishing.
Okay.
The Revive has a lot more expensive ingredients in it. There's a
should this be
price
for
difference.
like my teenager,
Yes, exactly.
and then this is for mama.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's amazing when you hit a certain age, you're like, oh yeah, I don't want that anymore. I need the whole other situation. I'm like, we need to start doing things that we didn't have to do before.
Right.
I know, Eileen, I just have a sidebar. So I'm in the longevity that kind of world. And I'm always fascinated at the number of 25-year-olds in this field telling everybody what to do. I'm like, you're 25. They're like, how to stay lean. I'm like, just be 25. I'm like, are you serious? How to have good skin. She's 27. I'm like, I don't want to hear it. Because I could have a gallon of vodka 4 days a week and have good skin when I was 25. So whatever. God bless. But I'm like, oh man, talk to the over 50 crowd. All right. So this, I would tone with a cotton ball, wash my face, tone, and then put this on AM, PM.
Yes.
I'm excited to
Exactly.
try. I'm going to see. I am so nervous about new things on my face. I'm not going to lie. That's why I've had it a while. And I'm like, ooh, tallow. I have never used tallow. And I know
Well,
it's
have you ever
popular. I've just been a little afraid.
but have you ever cooked with butter and got butter on your skin? Did you notice how quickly it absorbs in your skin?
True.
Your body loves that animal fat.
People tell me it's great. I just, on my face, I've been a little nervous. I went through the coconut oil thing and it broke me out really bad.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I was like, that didn't work. That was horrible. So, all right.
So with
Fresh for the younger people.
right.
Or if you're on a budget, Revive if you got a little bit of this. What's up with the cellulite reduction stuff?
Well, I lost 30 pounds. And that was just getting out, doing the morning sunshine, barefoot grounding, doing my near infrared sauna and moving in there because I have the one that's the yoga size. So I'm doing some exercise movement in there and then just doing the intermittent fasting where I pick 8 hours in the day to eat and don't eat past that. So I lost over a year and a half, 30 pounds. And so I was concerned about all this loose skin, and so basically I created a lotion that has ingredients that cause the cell to increase their metabolism. So, to burn fat and to tone things that tone. And so I started putting that on and then I started going, I need a body toner. So what I do is the body toner I put on first, then I put the lotion because it makes the lotion spread even more. And then it pushes, there's stuff in the cellulite reduction that increase the transdermal penetration. So it even pushes the minerals, into the body. So I use the body toner with the cellulite, not only to help firm my skin, but to push the minerals from the Dead Sea toner into my body. Because, we try to get our minerals, orally with our food and things like that. But there's a lot of transdermal absorption that are at much higher rates than whatever we put in our mouth. Yeah. And so I'm in the process of another version of the cellulite because I came across 4 new ingredients. So I'm actually going to be enhancing the effectiveness of that one, even though I don't have any baggy skin for losing 30 pounds. So, because I went from a size 12s were tight, I was in a 14. Now I'm in a size 6.
Yeah, and she's like 6 feet. You're like 6 feet, 6'1" or something like that.
Yeah, I'm 6 foot. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's
Well,
why I did the
yeah.
cellulite
And do
lotion.
you like put it in and you do this with it, like the rubbing, or do you?
I usually do that when I'm dripping wet in my sauna,
Okay.
because then you don't need any lotion or anything like that. Then I can just clean up the brush and
Yeah.
take a shower. Then afterwards, put my toner and put my
Yeah.
lotions
I
on.
love the size of this. I had like 3 or 4 of the fascia blasters. I found them to be too harsh. I did bruising and things like that. So I tell people like, look, I love the concept, and if it works well for you, awesome. But I found it to be kind of physically exhausting to be the sizes in this. I'm like, oh, this is nice and small, and I can certainly kind of go in there and get that. And it's all about the fascia constricting, the fat cells. You guys, cellulite is really a lymphatic drainage and fascia problem. It's not really a fat problem per se, but those poor fat cells can't move and constrict and move the way they are. And these are great protocols and great things to do in addition when somebody's doing like a longer detoxification protocol with me or another clinician. They often just think of the supplements. They think of like the chelation process, and they don't think of these other things. People get amazed when I explain taking Epsom salt baths and what that does and how we can absorb things. And like, you guys, the skin is great. Like, they don't think about it. And I'm always amazed when parents, I just had a patient, autism child, and I said, we have Epsom salts. And she goes, yeah. And I said, put them in the bath for him. And she was like, oh, I never even thought to. She bought it for her. And I'm like, children need it too. We need magnesium sulfate as well. So give it to him, right? Okay, so I think
I wanted to go over one more lotion.
Yeah.
Before we realized my grandson was allergic to nut, eggs, and dairy, he had like eczema all over him. He would just scratch himself to the point of bleeding and nothing would work. So I started reading about psoriasis, eczema, inflammation of the skin, and what nutrients I could put in a lotion to help that. And so that's one of the reasons why we have the healing in the big jar, because we just coated that boy from head to toe and his skin would clear up and he'd quit itching.
That's amazing.
And so there's something there for people that if they're having problem skins, obviously dial down to see if there's an allergy, things like that. But there's always someone who's got something that needs to be healed on their skin, or things like
and
that.
although you guys, again, link down, I'll have all the links. If you're like, I need that, just go click down and go get what you need right there in the store. But even though like skin, is a reflection of what's actually happening inside, and that's great, but skin stuff is so agitating to the system as well as emotionally, because everybody can see it. Nobody can actually see your leaky gut or your fatty liver or, your inflamed pancreas, but they sure can see eczema and psoriasis or cystic acne. And it causes a lot of disruption of what people can do in life because it's irritating and it's often embarrassing. And so I do tell people, we're going to treat from the inside out, but it's okay to come from the outside in on the skin simultaneously, and it's important to find things that work because sometimes it can be very, very tough. So certainly if you're suffering with that, let's try, it tells people like the skin is a very, very interesting beast with a lot of emotional context as well. That people
and I don't think people realize that you put something on your skin and it's in your bloodstream like in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And so the first line of our defense, we're spending time in our saunas and we're going to try to get people to do dry skin brushing and whatnot. But what about cutting down the amount of poisons you're putting in your poor body? And that should start with your skincare routine.
And particularly women. We really put, I think, I forget the number. I'm sure you might know this.
It's like over 500 there. Yeah. There was a study that said that women, between all their shampoos and body washes and makeups and lotions,
nail polish, and
all that, they said like over 500 chemicals.
Yeah. And what really breaks my heart is like they're doing it to their little girls, and they think they're giving them a treat by taking them to do things or putting things, and it's poisoning them and ruining their hormonal systems. And we have very destroyed endocrine systems. We have plagues of hormonal issues now. Thyroids don't work, ovaries don't work, testes don't work. Nobody can get pregnant. You know, and everybody's kind of seeing something's wrong, and they not quite knowing all of it. And you're absolutely right. What we're putting on our skin and hair and nails, all of it is a huge part of what is going on. And this simple thing, I tell people, I'm not ready to wear no makeup. I'm not ready to not do any lotions. I just am very selective and particular about what those things are. And you won't find anything that I use in any normal store on any kind of shelf coming from any major, if it's from CoverGirl, Maybelline, Estee Lauder, I'm not using any of it because none of it is to par. It's all horrible. So, and that includes almost all the stuff you're going to find in the Whole Foods. They think that means it's safe. No, it does not actually. So it's
now,
not a hard step.
Whole Foods has a standard. There's over 400 items that they're supposedly not supposed to sell if it's on that list.
I know, but
and so there's other things that they allow when I've been doing my research and making our products that I wouldn't put in, ours as well. I mean, everything from preservatives, the preservatives we use is made from radishes, and it, has the gram kill, and, the products are totally safe. I mean, we're always, we do our batches, we've got our serial numbers, we do the testing, to make sure they're safe. But
cool.
they're totally natural, non-toxic, and they work.
That's a great point. Good. Well, here, let's talk. So you guys have to breathe safe. I'm very into good, clean air. And this was something you mentioned to me. I'm like, what are you talking about with this product? So
that's an
Ionic Refresher.
Okay.
Tell me about this.
My son in college had roommates. Every time I went to visit, they had the Glade Airwicks plugged in everywhere. And I'd be running around, pulling them all out because I'd have headaches. It's like they're just spewing chemicals. A lot of them are on the Health and Human Services website saying they're carcinogenic, and so I wanted to come up with a little plug-in gizmo. So I had used that carbon fiber tip to create negative ions for a light bulb, an LED light bulb. But, with LEDs, everybody, even though mine had a CRI healthy rating, I decided to heck with the light bulb. I'm going to come up with something that plugs in, that is effective at cleaning the air, that's silent. And the box was printed, and we omitted one test report. The test report's on the website, but that little gizmo kills like 98% of the bacteria in the air, as well as those other stats on the box. And so basically, in my home, I just brought a 12-pack home and I plugged one in every room. And so once a month, I go over there with the moist rag and I wipe down the front. And like, people have called me or they sent me pictures because all around their Ionic Refresher, it's black. And so basically it's cleaning up all this stuff, and then the particles are going on the wall all the way around this thing. I mean, that's a sign it's working. And so, you just have to once a month. If you do that, then your wall's not going to get black.
Yeah. So this is great for college kids. So one, it's good for your home, right? If you don't have a full home thing already, if you don't have a couple breathe safes. I mean, I've got breathe safes and a full, UV light filtration system in my house. Once you have mold illness, I don't mess around, but this is just a way to upgrade, and I can add to it. But it's perfect for like dorm rooms. If you don't have that as well, then you could just put one in kind of every room. Like, how big would like how much square footage do you know that? Like,
so it's like you'd need 2 of them for like a 10 by 12 room.
Okay.
To clean the air. And I keep one in my sauna.
The price is pretty good, right? Like, it's kind of
$49 for one of those. And then you can there's a pack where you can get 1 breathe safe and 6 Ionic Refreshers.
Okay.
And that's discounted, or you can buy a 12 pack of the Ionic Refreshers, and it's, cheaper
Discount.
than buying
Okay,
them
cool.
individually. But see, like I keep one of those in my sauna with my Breeze Safe. So I know it's like completely sterilizing the air. Plus I'm getting my oxygen and my negative ions when I'm taking my sauna with my Breeze Safe.
Okay.
Now,
So this is a little bit different than what the Breathe Safe is doing. So they work
yes,
together.
they work well together. They don't replace each other. Like the Breeze Safe only kills 46% bacteria. The Ionic Refresher is 98, but the Ionic Refresher doesn't make oxygen, where the Breeze Safe increases background oxygen levels 70 to 118%.
Okay.
And so they both are pretty good at volatile organic compounds and things like that cause our air to be, unhealthy. And so I have a hyperbaric oxygen chamber at home, and, I'll let some people who live locally come over and do it. And so I have a power strip that when we get done, I have 6 Ionic Refreshers and I throw them in there and I zip it. So I know that it's completely sterilized in there, so I don't have to be wiping it down and all that kind of stuff,
So let's say what people often want to know. Okay, I hear what you're saying, but why would I have it? So it'd be somebody who would probably be like, okay, if you have allergies, sinus headaches, maybe like if you're dealing with these things, maybe you should try to get one of these. What would be some of the things that are common that people get relief from? I'd imagine allergies, sinus congestion, headaches.
Yes.
And
a thing that people really comment on is, a lot of people, their noses are stuffed up. So when they're sleeping, they're mouth breathers.
Mm-hmm.
And they find when they're using these devices that they start breathing through their nose. Their sinus passages completely clear up. And, the EPA even says that indoor air is 3 to 5 times more toxic than outdoor air. And we spend way too much time indoors. And so we really need, to do something. And these, you just have to clean them. So you don't have to pay for new filters or anything like that. So
is there something fancy? You're just wiping it down?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. I know what everybody's going to get at Christmas for me this year. My mother has the dirtiest apartment. She was like the dustiest apartment in Detroit. Like we always like, what's happening? So I'm just going to bust out a few of these to start with, because I need everything with her to be as simple as possible. She's like, what's that thing? I'm like, don't worry about it. And can you just dust it once a month? And like my 77-year-old mother can do it. And that's gotta find the simple things for her. I'm going to talk about something now that you and I love. And you kind of blew my mind on the last talk. I was like, what do you mean you can do a coffee enema standing up in a shower? That doesn't make any sense. So she's got this thing, the Enema Fix. Problem solved. Stand up, no mess, to do a coffee enema. I am like mind blown at the idea of this whole thing. like what? So first of all, for those of you who don't know, yes, putting coffee up your bunghole and holding on to it for a few minutes and then releasing it into the toilet is an extraordinary health tool that does outrageous things for liver flushing, immune support, mood regulation, detoxification. I've been utilizing them for 20 something years with lots of patients, and even all the ones who are like, you want me to do what? And that might take a while to get it to happen. And they're like, Doc, I got to tell you, it's amazing. I feel amazing. I'm like, I told you, like, I shouldn't have waited. My wife can't believe I do it like 2-3 times a week now. So I love a coffee enema. I haven't done one in a hot minute, but this is a contraption.
Well, it also comes with a glass jar.
Yep.
So see, and the kit has an adapter that you can put that pump on. Because a lot of people don't like plastic, they like glass.
Okay.
And that was because I had a smaller one before. And so now we provide them with both. So you can use the glass one at home in your shower, but then when you're traveling, you can still use the bottle. And then that way, and the thing about this is, is we've sold, 1,000 of them. and we've gotten, I think, 2 complaints where people go, oh my gosh, it just has air in it. Well, we have the instructions that say, once you fill it up, you have to vigorously pump it so that then you have water in the hose. Otherwise, you'll have air and you'll be pumping air in yourself. So you have to just follow the instructions, vigorously pumping it to get the air out.
Yeah.
And then of course, when you're right down to the very bottom of the container, you're not going to be able to pump all that liquid out. So again, or else you're going to get air in there. And so the other thing about it is if you have coffee grounds in your solution, the coffee grounds will get up there and it'll clog it. So you have to take it apart and clean it. So, no coffee grounds, and just prime the pump.
Yeah.
And then it works, because especially with like the glass jar, I basically, hold half of it. I'll pump in half, and then I'll just be taking my shower, using my brush, all over, my body in the shower. And then when I feel like I need to release, I go sit on the toilet. Then I come back, then I fill again. So then I've gone through the 32 ounces of my coffee enema solution.
There you go. I will put a link down there, you guys, about what is a coffee enema and how to do one. I go over this with my patients, but I will put something down there if you're like, what are they talking about? Or if you're an old pro, go ahead and tell me about it in the comments. Encourage people to do it. It's one of those really affordable, easy things. You just need to know how to do it. It's not like you don't go to Starbucks and get that coffee. You need to make the coffee the right way. It needs to be a certain kind of coffee. You make it the right way. You just do the whole thing the right way, and believe it or not, and it's been around for a very long time for a very good reason. So I love it. So I'm excited to figure this out, read the directions. I'm like, wait, I could just do this part of my whole thing. Again, time efficient. Part of why I love your sauna. I'm like, this is the fastest. And it's just enough time. I'm peaceful, I'm relaxed, I'm chilled, but it's like 20 minutes. I got things to do. That whole like an hour and a half process that used to take me sometimes. I'm like, this, and so you'd want to like, oh, I don't want to have to sauna, even though I feel good, because I don't have an hour and a half, but I have 20 minutes every day. The whole thing, brushing and in and out, is 30 minutes. I always can find that time. And it's like my total reset space in that sauna. Oh, well, another thing I love is castor oil packing. And the last thing we're going to talk about is this neck thing. So let's talk about, so I go over castor oil packing with patients from children to adults. And I use a lot of it, especially because I deal with a lot of special needs children, and trying to explain to parents, like they're kind of mind blown because they've been to 8,000 specialists for their autistic child. And I'm like, have you ever done castor oil? Like, no. And I'm like, look, and I explain the simple thing about what that actually does when castor oil with a healthy organic pack on the liver, really any part that it can put it, but I always typically go with the liver to help with detox, how it activates the parasympathetic nervous system and helps that child calm down and sleep so much better that night. And for any parent with any child that has trouble sleeping, but you put it that it's a special needs child, behavioral disorder, autism, anything like that, where, high needs all day long, mama is waiting desperately till bedtime, and disrupted sleep on that child is very disruptive for that. And that can lead to stimming and biting and fighting and bowel movement. I mean, it can lead to not just everyone's tired. It can be really dangerous, actually. They are blown away at how calm and relaxed and the sleep improvements. Like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I know. And it costs almost nothing, and it's healthy and easy. Just get organic. They can't even believe it. And I'm amazed how much we've kind of let castor oil and castor oil packing disappear. And I'm glad to see it's kind of coming back. I'm going to grab yours.
Well, I went online and I bought a lot of different castor oil packs, and they're messy, they leak.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, what are you going to do? Wrap yourself in saran or wrap or like a plastic sheet down to try to sleep or whatever. And so we, my sister's quite the sewing person. So we came up with using the certified baby pull, which is a breathable, waterproof fabric that they use, like in homemade baby diapers, the crunchy homemade baby diapers. And of course, we're using our organic fleece.
Mhm.
And so it's kind of like, has a little bit of ribbing like a corset might have. So you saturate that liner and then you put it in there and then you can like lace it up and it will not leak and it stays on your body. And you could exercise with it. You could literally be in the sauna with it to heat it up.
Mhm.
It's got a little pocket so you can put your heating pad in there. And so it's just a no mess, easy castor oil fix.
And all you do then too is when you replace this lining, guys, so you don't, constantly buy the whole thing, you just change out the thing. I typically have my patients change it about depends on how frequently, but about every 3 months. And I let them know, don't share this, like that is mine. And if, someone else is going to use it, like we probably get them their own thing or change the lining kind of a thing. So yeah, it's a very unique way it can wrap around in multiple ways to stay on. And
it's adjustable with the
Mhm.
different snaps. So for tall people, short people, I haven't thought about making something for children. So I need your input on, because the elastic can be cut and it won't fray. So for like a child, I just need to know how many more inches of snaps I need to add. So
Mhm.
then a parent could just cut it off so it would then cinch up and fit their child. But the one thing about this wrap too is, don't remove the liner, just roll up the whole thing and put the whole thing in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
So then when you're ready
You don't have to wash it, you guys. There's people think, I'm like, no, you don't do all that. There it is. I just stick it in a glass jar. I have a big glass thing and I'm like, keep it in my bedroom in the closet and castor oil, boom, done. That's how I do it. And there's more castor oil packing. You guys can ask questions about it. Maybe if I have a video down there, I'll throw it down there. I'm not sure if I've actually made one or not. But it's an incredible castor oil. It's one of those nature's magic, topical, internal. There's all kinds of things you can do with it. But it's for liver support, calming, helping with sleep. I use it. I do, and it's like, I can't believe how much this helped my sleep. You know what I mean? Like, wow. And I mostly just I was thinking of it as liver support. And all my children with special needs typically have overwhelmed, livers. We got a lot of things we're dealing with, and just the emotions around the liver and the gallbladder, our anger and resentment. I don't think it's a coincidence they're taking gallbladders out left and right. And there's so many gallstones in the world and the state and the way we're all got a lot going on, not know how to express anger and resentment very well. And imagine if you're can't even say the words, VACCINE, injured child. I mean, you got probably a little pissed off about some things at that point. That's like with code everything at this point. It's ridiculous.
So with that liner, it is organic fleece. So you can unsnap it and you can literally, hand wash it. And it can be reusable.
Okay, you do reuse them. Okay, I mostly am like, start over.
We wash, that's 528 grams per meter square. Like in the homemade diapers, you usually use 3 layers of the fleece.
Okay.
This, you can't even sew 3 layers of the fleece together because it breaks needles. It's so thick. So it's very rigorous. And we originally washed it in hot water and dried it in hot water. So it's pre-washed. And so it'll take the toughest washing. And, obviously you're going to need something that will cut the oil from the castor. Some people keep on buying the liners, so obviously they're not taking the time to wash them. Yeah. But they can be washed.
Yeah. Okay. Well, for the homesteaders that want to do that, for those of us who are a little bit like, look, I'm doing the best I can. I think on that note, the last kind of cool thing
is the neck.
Yeah, is the next thing. There's the ozone diffuser.
Oh, yeah. We got that here.
Yeah, you got that. Let's show what that is. Yeah.
So back in the 80s, when I first got into ozone, they had these alpine air purifiers, and we thought we were doing ourselves a great service by cleaning the air with ozone, but we were inhaling the ozone gas. Then the government, of course, says, oh, no, you can't do that because that's causing permanent lung damage and this and that. So when you have too much ozone in the air, it'll compete with the oxygen receptor sites in your lungs. And then the lung tissue has a lot of lipids in it. So it oxidizes that and actually causes your lungs to have a sunburn kind of. So then your body has to regenerate. And so for people who maybe have asthma or COPD, being around ozone gas can be actually life-threatening to them, over 0.02 part per million in the air. Now, normal people can handle like 0.1 without having any symptoms, but anything over that, like a lot of people go, well, I love breathing ozone. It makes me breathe deeper. I go, hey, that's your body because it's not getting enough oxygen forcing you to breathe deeper. That's a homeostatic response. That's not good. And a lot of people, I ask them, I said, well, you're breathing all that ozone. Do you have a lot of bloating and intestinal pain? Oh, yeah, I suffer from that. And I go, that's the cause of inhaling ozone gas to your digestive system. And then when they stop inhaling it, they're going, oh my gosh, I didn't know, because now I don't have that pain anymore. And so before, so once I learned that danger, I would always like ozonate my water or clean my vegetables, flip on the exhaust fan, and I'd go into the other room. And so then I bought, because I'm a gizmo woman, so I bought an ozone degasser that was a regular science beaker that had this little straw thing in it with these tubes going to PVC pipe, and I'm trying to ozonate water, and I have my concentration meter. It's like I couldn't even get the concentration up in the water because the diffuser wasn't very good. And then I felt like I was going to break it every 2 seconds. So I went to sleep, and then I saw just a regular glass jar with a filter cap that has a diffuser that really diffuses water. This is FDA approved, really small holes. So it transfers gas to the water because there's more surface area quicker. And then when you diffuse ozone gas into water, only 15% of the gas goes in the water. The rest goes in the air. So believe it or not, you turn on an ozone generator. If you can smell the ozone, it's like 1 part per million or more, not the 0.02 that's safe. And so the excess ozone goes up through these holes into this reservoir that has these they're copper manganese pellets, which immediately cause the ozone gas, the third molecule, to be oxidized, neutralized. So then pure oxygen comes out of the top of the cap, and it gets rid of 100%. There's nothing measurable on an ozone meter reader, even 0.000. There's nothing. So this is a real good solution, so that if you're going to make some ozonated water to drink, or if you're going to follow maybe a coffee enema up with, maybe you want to do an ozone water enema, you can make your ozone water.
And got a good container, very strong ozone in the water, as strong as you can get, but there's no dissipation into the air whatsoever because it's being oxidized into oxygen. Yeah.
Yes, right.
Perfect.
Exactly. So that is, and I'm filing a patent right now where we'll be able to ozone a complete sink full of veggies and degas all the water. So this is a new patent that I'm filing. But for now, we have this, which I wouldn't ozonate sink water anyway and drink it. I usually ozonate, purified water or spring water. So you still need something to, degas the water you're going to be drinking. But yeah, I want to make it easy for cleaning our vegetables because, you wouldn't believe what lives on the outside of all these vegetables. They're grown in dirt and with fertilizer. I mean, we got E. coli, salmonella, listeria, parasite larvae. So it's like, I never eat anything unless I clean it with ozone water. because it's like, why do that to my immune system? Why even risk? It's like if somebody said, okay, Costco's strawberries are recalled, I wouldn't even return them. I would clean them with ozone water and eat them, because like E. coli, for instance, takes 0.1 part per million dissolved ozone in water, 15 seconds to kill. See, every pathogen has a concentration of ozone and a time to kill. So with my ozonator in this, you're going to make 1.5 part per million water. So how many seconds is that going to take to swish your strawberries to kill the bad guys?
Right. Exactly. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of ozone for all kinds of things. I get it in my blood. I do all the things with it. I mean, I have lots of videos. I'll drop some down there about ozone therapies, you guys, and I refer to some local doctors, and it's very, very effective for mold remediation in your home and all kinds of things. It's high dose treatments and all kinds of for ways of doing it. It's not what she's saying about breathing in the air that is dangerous. There are ways to use it that are very effective.
Right. Yes.
And treat conditions. Yeah.
My machines are not acceptable for insufflation because they have 0.003% nitric acid, which is because it's corona discharge. For the medical, where they put gas in a bag and then they put it in an orifice, your ear, vagina, rectum, that kind of thing. That's where you're going to need the oxygen fed tank. Ozone, but this is great for cleaning, your food.
That's all device on your counter. Do what you want to do with you and your family. Not everybody wants to have that. I do offer those to my patients. I have them in my house and the clinic, and I'll drop that down too. If you want, if you know what I'm talking about, you want one for your house. Because most of the ozone doctors I know that, are friends of mine and train in it, they want people to have the stuff in their house. They want them empowered. So in case there's ever an issue, please don't depend on only our practices to help you, because there isn't enough of them to see everybody in some type of crisis. They go, if you got your own stuff at home, take care of yourself, so they're big fans of teaching people. So let's talk about the next thing, because this is a really unique thing. You kind of blew my mind with this. I know you have it behind you, so maybe you grab yours.
Oh,
so
yeah.
New device. I was like, what do you mean you're making body stuff? What are you talking about? And so my son is like pretty much eyeballing this and going to take it over. He's like, what is that? I said, I know. He's like, that's my problem. I need to do that. I said, you do. I said, but let me talk to her first. But this Neck Shaper workout set, tell them about this and how this came about and who would want it and why would they use it and why should they buy it?
Well, I've had back problems my whole life. I grew 9 inches in 3 months and I got ran over by a car, and I got sent to the late Dr. Sugar, and he worked with the US Olympic team, NFL teams, and they had a special panel of people to mathematically prove why a S-shaped curve of a spine is mechanically superior to ones that maybe have a flat low back or forward head posture. So for the first time, Leonardo da Vinci and Borelli did some spinal biomechanic calculations, but never had it been done on every joint, calculating the compression forces and shear forces based on posture or movement. And so they came up with 3 exercises that will induce curvature, because normally it takes 18 years, because, a baby is a C shape. They can't crawl, they can't sit up, and then old people are hunched over. It's like we start as a C shape, end up as a C shape, but in between, we're supposed to have this S-shaped curve. And so low back pain is $100 billion a year problem. And it's just something that if a person has suffered from back pain like I have, it's like when Dr. Sugar passed in 2006, I didn't want this to die with him. And so he had the the physics and all the mathematics reviewed by the National Strength and Conditioning Association. It was peer reviewed. It took over a year and they endorsed it. And then his courses were offered as continuing education credits for trainers and doctors and physical therapists and everything. Now that he's died, you know, the courses are no longer available. I do have the courses and they're filed with the Library of Congress. But one of the exercises that he taught was the neck flexion, because what people don't realize is that when you have loss of curve, the shear forces reverse. Like in a spine, there's the facet bones, that if you have proper curvature, the shear forces push that bone on bone. But if you have loss of curve, it's not bone on bone anymore. So it's putting forces on your ligaments, your multifidus, and your interspinalis muscles. So the posterior shear is what is dislocating discs and, you know, causing all kinds of bones to go out of place and injuries to happen. And so we have to do something to put the curve back in. Just like if you go out in the sun, you're going to end up getting a suntan. So we want the body to adapt. So they studied and determined how to make it adapt. And that is, you know, if you look up to the ceiling, and when you nod and agree with somebody, that's C5 in your neck. So we're not going to be like pushing forward or back or to the sides. What we're doing is we're just going to look up and we're going to chin down, relax, and push back. So when we put this on and put a little bit of resistance, chin down, relax, and we push back, that is strengthening the neck muscles to bring the position of the head over the pelvis in a more rested state. Then your muscles can relax when you're not,
Right.
you know, engaged.
You guys are doing this. So, so there's a lot. Well, let's just do it. What? Right? I mean, it's like that bad now. People used to have a little bit of an anterior sometimes from whatever. You never saw. I mean, we have a term, text neck now in the business. I mean, because of this, the T1 ribs, I mean, it's becoming ridiculous. The chronic and then occiput goes, I mean, in the field, we've never seen anything like it. But it causes tremendous amount of strain everywhere. It's a very systemic biomechanical stress. And I would say it often actually contributes to a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of neurological reasons why that actually leads to a lot of anxiety that people are having. They want something fancy. I'm like, actually, we need to do this, you know?
Well, I laugh because I see that reminder that you wear like a necklace. So when you're hunched, it says to stand up straight. So people are like, put your shoulders back. Well, you know what? After you start using this, and I keep it at my desk. If I'm here very long and my exercise watch says, get up and move, you know, drink water, my, reminder, then I just do about 5 or 6 of these. It's like flossing and brushing your teeth before going to bed. You know, if you want to keep your neck in a good position, you just have to do a few throughout the day. It's not complicated. I mean, there's an exercise guide. I have free downloads for the exercise guides on how to perform the exercise. So it's got a bar. This clamps onto an ordinary barbell. I actually have a cushion I'll lay on my exercise table because that has a groove for the spinous bone, it's like, okay, let's get this over here,
Yeah.
So I lay over it and then I'm doing my neck flexion, like this.
Oh, okay.
And I've worked up to where I do 30 pounds.
Wow.
And I can hear, my bones, cracking and so I'm So now when I'm out, if I feel tired or something and I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm hunching, I just go like this, and then it puts my head over my hips and my shoulders automatically go back. It is not the shoulders. It is the position of the head in comparison to the pelvis because of the two curves in between.
Fascinating. Yeah.
And so this is pretty amazing. I've got UFC fighters using it, Major League Baseball players, NFL players. It is absolutely amazing. I've had people scheduled for neck fusion. They've had 10 years of pain, been on painkillers, had this for 2 weeks. They canceled their surgery. They're pain-free. This is just a lifesaver, getting rid of migraine headaches. And I mean, there's 34 spinal fitness products now, and I've got 6 more that will be here within a month. And it's the full line, because what Dr. Sugar taught at the time, he taught me how to roll bath towels, where you fold them in half and then you bring the ends in and leave this groove for that spinous.
That's what that's what I did too. I was taught that by the doctor, and that's what he's like, what? We can do it right here with towels, exactly.
And so those helped. You know what I mean? Because I was ran over by a car. I mean, I had to lay down like that for hours at a time, just so I could survive between adjustments until I could, rehabilitate. But it's so amazing because they come in 5 different diameters and 3 different densities for both the neck and the low back, because everybody's back is a different shape. And you fit them to them and you lay down flat. Then, you can't change muscle attachments to bone, but everybody's got tight muscles, right? So you just lay down in that position. So it's gently putting your curvature back in, and gravity lets your muscles relax. You literally hear your bones move because it's like a train with a train track.
Yeah. It's a gentle traction. It's gravity-based body weight traction, around that. Yeah. I wonder, interesting, I don't know his name, but I wonder if he was a chiropractic biophysic, a CBP guy. So CBP is a very specific technique that does a lot of some of this, that it's all about the curves. It's biophysics. I mean, they're very into everything around proprioception, angles, physics, and the curves. And for them, it's all that.
Yeah. Well, he was Pedabon. He was Pedabon.
Yeah.
Trained.
Pedabon, yeah. Okay.
And so that's really has a lot to do with it. But so there's our discs are like the density of a sponge. And so what Dr. Sugar taught is, sit on the edge of your chair, chin up, get a little curve in your low back, arms out, and then look and rotate. So you're pumping blood and nourishment to the discs, and then the discs go to a gel. That's when you lay over these and relax for 20 minutes. Then the muscles let go. You literally, everyone that I have sized the cushions for, they've done the rotation and laid over it. They hear their bones move. And then the discs then firm up. And then you roll over, push up, get up. And it's like training for curvature of your spine. There's a little boy, he was 12 years old, and he had an injury from a trampoline, and he'd been through physical therapy, and there just wasn't much they could do for him, but he was continuing to have seizures. His father brought him over to my office. I sized him for the rolls and taught him how to do it. A month later, the father comes back and says, he takes those with him everywhere. He does that every day like you taught him, and he's never had a seizure since.
Wow.
And so these things are phenomenal. Yeah. And then everybody's familiar with foam rollers.
I want to caveat this. So those of you who might be like, that's crazy. It's actually not. We use extension. There's many techniques that do extreme extension, and they help stop seizures and tremors and a lot of things. And you almost have to see it to believe it. And I've seen it, and you're like, what? Because, like she says, we went from a C to we're supposed to have an S to the C again, well, the C starts to happen much sooner. And there's a lot of neurological things that happen from that to the point, even all the way to seizures, a severe chaos disruption. And if you take somebody, not only that, but we reverse it, that's, we go the opposite, you watch a complete change in neurology. So this isn't going to that severe hyper, extension as the cure, but it's actually just bringing the curves in, but it's giving that relief. So for those of whom I've been like, what are you talking about? Yeah, I believe it, because I understand the neurology of how that's happening, but it is still like, really, I'm so not only so happy for that boy, because I know what it's like for children with seizure disorders, how I see them and like what their life is like, that to think that biomechanically we can affect the nervous system that strongly,
Yeah, because his was caused by a biomechanical injury,
Absolutely.
But it's like having the tools to correct those things, that physical therapists, are sometimes limited. But, we have foam rollers everywhere, especially like the chirp wheel, the plexus wheel, the yoga rolls, and a lot of those, or other foam rollers, but they're like either made with a small layer of rubber on a pipe, or some kind of plastic PVC pipe, or the like hard styrofoam or the polyethylene that doesn't really have a give. And a lot of them do not have a groove to let the spinous float. See, that the beauty of these is this patented groove that allows that spinous to float in that groove, but you can see on the top, the edges of the vertebrae catch. So as your body weight, when you're rolling on this, just like a regular foam roller, you not only hear your back pop, but even if you have fibromyalgia and have pain, like I have one review on this product, they're just brand new. We just got them the end of March. There's a review on there where she's used all the other foam rollers and they just cause her so much pain and discomfort, but this one she's able to roll on, and it's adjusting her back to the point where she's improving. Not only can she survive the treatment, but it's actually comfortable and it's improving. And it's because the other ones, yes, you'll hear your back pop, but it's not guiding the vertebrae. See, this one is guiding it into a healthier location, and it comes in two densities. Like this one is a medium, and then there's a hard one. But I was riding a motorized bicycle in San Francisco, and I had somebody coming up on the back of me, but I just happened to look and it said, no bicycles, no pedestrians. So I had to stop. So I'm like waving at him, jump off the bicycle, but there was this like drain. So I had nothing under my right foot, and I slammed in the guardrail and my rib was out. I couldn't even like move my arm to brush my hair. I was in so much pain. Of course, I went to get craniosacral therapy and chiropractor adjustments, and had been 3 or 4 times. And then my prototype arrives. I rolled on this thing once. The second time I rolled on it, my ribs went back in, and I could immediately use this without any pain and got my full mobility back. I'm going, oh my gosh, so this is called the back Trac. And so we've got.
So you got, so like, that was the kind of interesting thing. I was like, all right, we got this like spinal hygiene whole setup. So we got like skincare, like beef tallow stuff. We have the sauna detoxification, light therapies, ozone, coffee enemas, and it's like, oh God, now we're doing a whole spinal hygiene thing, but it made sense when I hear your story. You're like, look, I'm an engineer. I build in things, I fix things, I make things better. And all of these things have happened to me or someone I love. So therefore I'm fixing it, and I can make it better, or I didn't find anything good enough, so I'll just make my own. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's pretty much like, yeah, she's like just this American engineer, like lady Tesla lady that just makes gadgets and more gadgets, and might as well have some cellulite cream in there too. You know what I mean? Because she's like, and I need to stay pretty, so I'm going to keep doing the things. I'm going to, Like, I love it. So at first it made no sense. I was like, what are you talking? I'm like, oh, well, yeah. I mean, if I grew 9 inches in that amount of time and got hit by a car, I'm like, yeah, I get it. And like you said, like kind of sick your whole life or in pain your whole life, and like now you found a way that you can approach your body and do a lot of self-care. Yes, I try to balance that too with patients. I'm like, I want to take care of you. There comes a point we need somebody, right, to help leverage at time and push a little bit. But the more you can do yourself, always the better. And then only come if the dream is you can self-correct, right? And they're why they couldn't put that rib head in on you 3 or 4 times, I have no idea. And instead of your system needing that, and rib heads are not that hard, but whatever, you needed the rib head to be put in with that. And like, isn't that amazing?
There were multiple ones,
it's like now I at least have an option. I can try it myself. And I think if nothing else, people.
Well, I still go to I get a 2-hour craniosacral massage once a month, and I go to the chiropractor every other week, whether I'm in pain or not. You look at x-rays of my body. My bones are not worn off. My discs are not degenerated.
Yeah.
I still think just because of gravity and all the stuff that we do.
Spinal hygiene is something you're supposed to be doing every day. Spinal hygiene isn't going to the chiropractor, actually. It's like, right. It's like getting the checkup. I'm like, are you going to like actually go to lift some weights? Because just going, you know what I mean? Getting weighed once a year, blood pressure, like that's not health. That's just us checking you. You know what I mean? Like the best thing ever to do is like you would go to the dentist and they go, we don't need to do anything. Looks great. See you next year, or like that's what you really want. Awesome.
Right.
There's nothing to do. I don't actually need to clean any tartar and plaque off of you. Everything looks great. Goodbye. That's what you want to do the chiropractor. Like, you're clear. I don't need to touch anything. Come back in a month instead. Wow, you're clear. I don't need to do anything. Isn't that awesome? What are you doing? The same thing with your oncologist, your gastroenterologist. What are you doing? What have you done that you don't need to see me anymore because I need to learn that? That's what I want people. And then the more doctors that do that, since doctor actually means teacher, doesn't mean healer, it means teacher. My job is just to continually teach people how to empower themselves. And sometimes, again, it's just an information. I'm like, oh, you didn't know what this was. You didn't know what a coffee enema was. Let me teach you. But I'm not coming to your house doing it. You have to do it. You know what I mean?
And now it's easy.
Yeah. Now you just stand up in the shower, right? So, so I do appreciate, I know what you mean. It's like having tools and solutions that you've invented to help yourself and other people, as well as using those clinicians from time to time. There's certain things, like, again, trust me, every chiropractor wants to know how to adjust themselves. There are just some things you can't do. And you're like, I'm going to need you to do it. And it's like, oh yeah, man, thank you so much. Because there's also that exchange of energy. I tell people there is a lot to be said of, and being held and cradled and this and that. And like, I can do lots of things that calm my nervous system, but there's something about actual needles from an acupuncturist I really enjoy as well. Like that chi energy from them actually doing it and me lying down and surrendering. There's a lot to be said for at times being a passive, recipient of the care and nurturing of a provider that I might not want to do myself. So I get it, the nice balance, and I want to know how to correct it myself as well. Sometimes I can't get there. I got to be able to, what tips and tricks and little devices can I take when I travel or when I'm, out of pocket somewhere. Yeah. I love it.
The big thing about spinal health that people don't realize is how much energy your body expends tightening all those muscles to hold you from drifting farther. It's like an emergency mechanism when you have tight muscles. It's because your bones are not in the right position in gravity. But that is like a huge energy consumption. And what's the number one complaint? I'm tired. Yeah. So it's just part of the whole thing. Toxins in our cells cause us not to be energy efficient. So it's like everything's all tied together if you don't have enough oxygen in your body, hence the breathe safe with the oxygen. I mean, everything that I do is really about energy. Yeah. Detoxifying. And, I just had to bring the spinal portion in there because I know that probably everyone is probably suffered from back pain or know someone who has. So it's just huge.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And it's definitely getting worse. I mean, the whole text neck thing. And like, I'm stunned at the amount of children I see at this point with
that are never going to develop into the spine that they need.
Yeah.
Now, I also sell a sizing kit, and it's on sale now, that has the 5 different diameters, and I have a video and written instructions so you can figure out, are you a 275 or a 350? Do you need a medium or a soft to start,
Okay.
the process?
Awesome. So that's under a section on your website?
Under exercise.
Exercise. Okay, cool.
And we're just right now revamping a lot of the pages. Like one of the new pages we just did is foam rolling your back.
Okay.
So that one's got a lot of different information. And like I said, we have 6 PDF guides as well. And those are rewritten from Dr. Sugar's work with a lot, references to his mathematics and just really instructions on how to do the exercises. Which exercises are you doing that are damaging your curve? That's the other thing too. So.
Awesome. I'm excited to here's one last thing I did. Healthy salt.
Oh, yes.
This was the one thing I went, I need to know about this and I don't know what to do with it.
Okay. So I was at a trade show and I met a Korean acupuncturist that had all my sea salts, because I was like a connoisseur of sea salts, always using the different ones. And he had these pH drops with these glasses, and he put a pinch of all of them in there and it still stayed acid. And he put a pinch of the healthy salt in there and it went blue. So I go, okay, most expensive salt in the world, I'm buying it.
Yeah.
So then what I did immediately is I cut my hair for a hair sample, just a 1/2 inch long, right at the scalp. Then I did my daily dose of healthy salt. Then I stopped, cut another hair sample every month for 6 months. And I went 30 days on, 30 days off. And then I compared all the results. And I was just amazed at how much more energy I had, how my body dumped more toxins. So then, of course, I'm going like, I got to get this salt analyzed. What if I'm putting all that cadmium in my body and all this kind of stuff? And sure enough, there was no cadmium in the salt, but I had like a dump of like 25 years worth come out. It was just incredible. And the other testing that I had, it's 20% minerals. Did you realize Himalayan salt is 0.8% minerals? They're mostly sodium. All these other salts are mostly sodium.
Yeah.
It's like it had just one little scooper of that salt has 6,800 parts per million magnesium compared to Himalayan, 1 part per million.
Wow. Yeah. So it's like a small little, this little tiny toothpicky serving. I mean, I was like, what are you talking about? With a pH of almost 11, very alkaline. And
it has a negative charge. So this is going to create EZ water in your body.
Well, see, this is what I say. So everything else, it's interesting. Now you brought up, I was going to say something as a caveat. The majority of your products to me are about restructuring water. You said it's about energy production. I go, I think it's about that you're making structured water. And it's just not a topic that most people know. So I wasn't going to say anything. EZ water, exclusion zone water, AKA structured water. It's what our bodies make, what the mitochondria make, but all of the water. And it's the power of heat. Sauna, the infrared is doing the near infrared doing heat, expanding it. The sun is doing it. When people always want to know about drinking, I'm like, I don't talk about that. You're actually your body is supposed to be structuring your water based upon what you're doing. And the healthiest people I see have very good, high quality structured water, and the unhealthiest is very low. I'm not totally there, but I'm really assessing. I'm like, wait a minute. I think some of these water people are totally right. Like that's it. All that matters is this, how much structured water, the quality of different structures, how much charge you can make in the water of you, that determines if you're healthy or not. And everything else is just like a marker that we're measuring of the nature of how structured or unstructured we are. And it's really an interestingly different way. So that's what easy water is. So what did you just say about what this is doing? So helping making more exclusion zone water?
Yes, because of the alkalinity and the negative charge. See, on the outside of our cells, it's supposed to be alkaline, but the lysosomes inside the cells, they need protons. So when you're having the healthy salt, especially like the 3000 nanometers of light from the incandescent bulbs, cause it to grow, but then the inside of our cells get the protons, and the lysosomes then can drop the internal pH. And it's the differential between the inside of the cell and the outside of the cell. And then it starts generating hydroelectricity, and it's able to store that energy in the exclusion zone water of the body. So it actually hydrates the body, this healthy salt. It causes you to detox tremendously because the lysosomes are what clean up the molecular debris inside our cells.
Now, did you go through any type of uncomfortable Herxheimer detoxification reaction?
That's why you start, the label says to start with what balances on a toothpick.
Yeah.
Some people
scoop up the salt that balances on a toothpick, you guys, and mix in 8 ounces of water. That's initially start with 1 toothpick dose per day and work up from there while drinking plenty of fluids. I mean, that's contains 238 servings of the normal, but how many toothpick servings are in here? That's also what I love about your products. You get a lot for what you're, you know what I mean? You're not buying this every 2 weeks, you guys, wow. Yeah, I was a little bit
reading the product reviews on the skincare, on the healthy salt. Actually, the reviews on the healthy salt are like medical claims. It's unbelievable. And there's a book that I really love. It's called Your Body's Many Cries for Water. And I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but it's Dr. Batman. He's from India, but he looks at the connection between chronic dehydration and disease, like high blood pressure. When you're in the water allocation system of your body is based on histamine. So like if you're short on salt, your body's going to lose water, and then your body's going to squeeze your blood vessels to wring out water, which raises your blood pressure. Then your water gets allocated through the nerve sheaths, and your body will defend like bone marrow over joint cartilage. It'll let your joint cartilage dehydrate and destroy itself to protect the bone marrow. And so his book is about having salt in your water, and like he goes into the whole thing about the high blood pressure, that some, or if not all, 80% of high blood pressure is just chronic dehydration. It's your body's survival mechanism. I had this one lady, she had high blood pressure, so she quit doing salt. So then she started having frequent urination. So she quit drinking water about 4 or 5 o'clock, and then she had asthma symptoms at night. The problem with that is, you lose so much water through your lungs that in an attempt to stop dehydration, your body will constrict the lungs and give you asthma. So that's an excellent book to read. And then read the reviews on the healthy salt, and then try it and start slow, because some people, if they have more than, I like use a toothpick like a shovel. So it's not just on the tip of it, but way less than the little 16th of a teaspoon scoop dose. But sometimes if they have more than that, they'll get a massive headache from detox. So I've just got to the point where start with the toothpick method, everybody. And it's unbelievable what some of the reviews are saying are happening to people.
Yeah, because it's interesting that to me, it should be your body's many cries for structured water, right?
Yes,
and you have to have salts and minerals in clean water, structured to, water doesn't hydrate. And that's what people don't understand. They drinking, dead, let's say reverse osmosis or distilled water, and it's dead, or worse, a tap with chlorine and fluoride and benzodiazepines, birth control pills, and all kinds of other things. And there's no structure, there's no minerals, there's no life force, it has no photonic energy, and I'm like, okay,
it rips the minerals you do have.
Totally destroys you. It dehydrates you even more. It's loaded with poisons. And you know, it's the more you get into water and like, God, structured water, deuterium. And I get it's confusing for people. So this one I was very, when I saw it, I'm like, okay, and it's, you know,
And-
Asian, and there's kind of like this secret around it. And I'm like, what is happening with this? And
yeah, his family has been making it for 2,000 years, and he wouldn't tell me what they put into it. So that's why I spent the thousands and the thousands and the thousands of dollars on all the testing that's under product testing. The reports are there for you to see. No microplastics, none of this, none of that, exactly what's in a 1/16 of a teaspoon. It takes almost 4 years to make. That's why it's so expensive. But it just seems to really work. And I know that it's the toxins that are coming out in my hair samples are not from the salt. And I started comparing all the certificate mineral analyses of all the sea salts to find out the differences and everything. And I came across the Canton marine plasma. That's, you know, from that vortex.
Canton, I use it. Yeah. Canton,
Yeah. And so when you look at the mineral ratios in Canton and healthy salt, it's almost identical. So then I realized why the body loves healthy salt so much. It's those ratios of those minerals.
Yeah. Well, good. I mean, I do Quinton hypertonic, and that's why that was the one question. I'm like, okay, so Quinton is my number one always recommendation to everybody. And it has been for a while. I'm like, oh, nothing beats Quinton.
That has plasma. I mean, the plankton in it. This obviously doesn't.
Marine plankton, you know, filter, that's what it comes from. But then again, but it's a little difficult and inconvenient. It's a big glass bottle in the fridge, or I got little glass vials, and that, you know what I mean? So not everybody's like, oh, I got to crack a vial and whatever. And I was curious. I'm like, well, because I'm going to try it. I'm going to look into all the stuff, but I understand exactly what you're saying. And that you said, you popped on that word easy water. I'm like, yep. Cause that's everything. I'm like, this is all, she's restructuring everybody's water. And I just wasn't sure if you knew. I'm like, of course you know what that is, because you know a lot of things. You are one incredibly smart woman. I always learn more.
I'm always learning, every day reading. I mean, it's just like what I like to do, you know. So
well, if you haven't gone into like a dive into Dr. Jack Cruz and dehydration and structured water, that's who I kind of learned about all that. He's a neurosurgeon, and he's now in like Florida, but he was in Nashville and Louisiana for a long time. And he's super big in the biohacking community, very strong, opinionated on this stuff, but he goes into light, gets into mitochondria, structured water, studied Gerald Pollack and all those guys, very hardcore. And it goes into that kind of dehydration, like it's all about, you know, like we're living in this non-native EMF kind of bubble that's dehydrating. So the lack of we're not eating enough fats and structured water foods, and we're not making it. So our mitochondria are broken. We're not making structured water inside ourselves as well. And we're getting microwaved all the time. You know, like now we're just in a box. And so we're just having chronic dehydration from a number of ways. And that's what is destroying us. And it's very, very, very interesting when you start putting all the pieces of so many people are finding it, like this book, this Indian doctor and this one, we're saying the same things, like, wait a minute, that looks like the problem. Actually, it's something about the electrical and frequency energetic charge of water and how it is allowed to organize in an easy zone, exclusion zone, which means you guys push away anything, nothing gets in, toxins can't get in, nothing damaged. And it's organized in a crystalline liquid gel structure, which brings information, order, and intelligence to the water. And if you destroy that, everything goes to shit. And that's diabetes and hypertension and all these other problems we're having. Right. Really, really fascinating. I'm going to get that book, and I'll drop it down the link, you guys, so you can see. If you want to get it, I'll have it in there for you. All right. Thank you, Eileen. Thank you so much. Is there anything else that, you know, I'll have the link to everything. Was there anything you want to add last minute?
No, I think we covered everything.
We covered so much. I really appreciate it.